The encounter. The night was cold and quiet. Broken buildings stood like shadows in the dark. The war had ended 5 years ago, but the earth was still healing. Most cities were gone. Nature was slowly taking them back. Ray walked alone through the empty streets. He wore a thick jacket, carried a flashlight, and had a small rifle hanging on his back. He wasn't a soldier anymore. He was just a man trying to survive. He looked up at the sky. The stars were clear tonight. Somewhere out there, aliens still watched them. Some were peaceful, others not so much. Suddenly, he heard something. A soft sound. Like a whisper. Ray froze. His hand reached for his flashlight. He turned it on slowly, pointing it toward the dark alley ahead. The light hit the ground, then the wall, then something moved. A shadow. Small, weak. "Who's there?" Ray called out. No answer. He stepped forward carefully. His boots crunched on broken glass. The wind blew gently, moving an old plastic bag across the street. The sound made him tense. Then he saw her. She was leaning against the wall. A girl. No, not a girl, something else. Her skin was pale, almost silver. Her eyes were glowing violet in the light. She had long black hair, messy and wet from the rain. Her clothes were torn. Her hands were shaking. Ray stopped. The creature looked up at him slowly. Her lips were dry and cracked. Blood was on her mouth, but it didn't look fresh. It looked old, dried. "Please," she whispered, so softly that Ray almost didn't hear it. "Help me." Ray raised his weapon slightly. "Who are you?" he asked. "Are you human?" She smiled weakly. "Do I look human to you?" she said, and then coughed. Ray's heart was beating fast now. She looked like a vampire, fangs, glowing eyes, but something was different. She didn't attack. She didn't run. She just sat there, weak and dying. "I'm not here to hurt you," she said, her voice shaking. I just need water." Ray looked around. He had water in his bag, but something told him that's not what she meant. "You're not thirsty for water, are you?" he asked. She looked away, ashamed. "No, I need blood just a little, or I'll die." Ray should have walked away. He knew that. Every warning, every survival rule said, don't trust aliens, don't trust vampires, don't trust anything that looks half dead and still speaks. But he didn't walk away. Instead, he crouched down slowly. "How long have you been like this?" She closed her eyes. 3 days, I crashed. My ship, it was shot down. I've been hiding. I didn't want to scare anyone. I didn't want to feed." Ray studied her. She wasn't lying. Her body was shaking. She looked like she could fall over at any moment. "What's your name?" he asked. "Velari," she said. "From the planet Norix, but I was born in space. Half vampire, half soldier, made in a lab. I ran away from them." Ray didn't know what to say. It was a lot to take in. But her voice, her face, something about her felt real. Honest. Not like the other aliens he'd seen during the war. He reached into his bag, pulled out a cloth, and offered it to her. She looked confused. "What's that for?" "To cover your face. If we move, you'll need to hide." Her eyes widened. "You're helping me." "I didn't say that yet," Ray replied. "But I'm not leaving you here to die, not yet." Velari took the cloth and wrapped it around her head. Slowly, she stood up. Her legs shook, and Ray grabbed her arm to help. "You're warm," she said softly. "You're cold," he answered. "Let's get you somewhere safe, then we talk." They moved through the dark streets, Ray leading the way. He knew an old shelter nearby, one he used sometimes during long patrols. It wasn't much, but it had walls, blankets, and heat. As they walked, Ray kept looking at her. She didn't act like a monster. She didn't beg. She didn't bite. She just followed quietly, her eyes watching everything like a scared animal. And Ray kept asking himself the same question over and over again. What kind of creature begs for help and means it? The shelter was cold and dusty. Broken lights hung from the ceiling. A small heater sat in the corner, half working, but enough to warm frozen fingers. Ray led her inside carefully. Velari looked around. "This place is safe." "For now," Ray said, locking the metal door behind them. He helped her sit down on an old mattress. She was still shaking. Her skin looked even paler now. Ray could see her veins, dark and thin like cracked glass under her skin. He gave her a bottle of water anyway. She held it but didn't drink. Ray sat across from her, watching. "You said you need blood." She nodded slowly. "And if you don't get it?" I go mad, then die, but I won't take it by force, she said. I promised myself I'd never become like them. Like who? She looked down. The others, the ones made for war. We weren't born, we were created, grown in tanks, trained to kill, drink, and obey. I escaped. Ray leaned back. He'd heard rumors about this. Alien labs, bio-soldiers, vampiric hybrids. Most people didn't believe it, but now one of them sat right in front of him. You ran away from your creators. Yes, she whispered. I didn't want to be a weapon. There was a long silence between them. Ray opened his bag and took out a protein bar. He handed it to her. She smiled faintly and took it, even though it wouldn't help her hunger. You don't seem like a killer, he said. She looked at him, her violet eyes glowing soft now, not sharp. I don't want to be. But you could be, he added. She nodded once. That honesty hit him. She wasn't trying to pretend. She wasn't hiding what she was simply tired of it. I've seen monsters, Ray said. They don't look like you, they smile while they burn cities. You look scared. I am. Good, he replied. Fear means you still care. She wrapped the cloth tighter around her shoulders. Why are you helping me? She asked. You don't know me, I could turn any second. Ray didn't answer right away. He looked at the fire. The heater buzzed softly, filling the silence. Finally, he said, I've seen what hate does. During the war, I watched humans turn into monsters too. We're not so different. Velari blinked, surprised. You fought. I survived, Ray said simply. For the first time, she smiled. A real small, tired smile. I was told humans were cruel, she said. Some are, Ray replied. But some give aliens protein bars and broken heaters. They both laughed softly. It was strange, gentle laughter in a world so broken. Then the moment passed. Velari's hands trembled again. Her fangs showed slightly. Her breath grew shallow. It's starting again, she whispered. Ray stood up. What happens now? I can't hold it much longer. If I lose control, I don't know what I'll do. Ray looked at her, thought for a long moment. Then slowly he pulled out a small knife from his pocket. He walked to her, knelt down, and held out his arm. She backed away. No, what are you doing? I don't trust you yet, Ray said. But I trust myself, and I'm choosing this. If you lose control, I'll stop you. She stared at the thin cut he made. A single drop of blood ran down his wrist. Her fangs showed again. Her eyes glowed brighter. But she didn't pounce. Instead, slowly, carefully, like a starving bird afraid of being swatted, she leaned in. Her lips touched his skin, and she drank gently, just a little. Ray gritted his teeth. The feeling was strange, cold, and hot at the same time, like fire touching ice. Then, just as quickly, she stopped. She pulled away, wiping her mouth with shaking hands. Her breathing slowed. Her eyes faded to a dull purple. I'm okay now, she whispered. Ray's hand was still bleeding lightly, but he didn't care. Velari looked ashamed. I swore I wouldn't feed again. Not from anyone, I'm sorry. Ray took a piece of cloth and tied his arm. You needed it. You didn't take more than you had to. That matters. She looked at him like she was seeing a new kind of creature. A human that didn't fear her, didn't judge her, just helped. I won't forget this, she said. You better not, Ray smiled. That was one expensive drop of blood. They both laughed again. Outside, the night got darker, but inside, something rare was born. Trust, and maybe the beginning of something bigger. The heater buzzed softly in the background. A faint orange glow lit the corners of the cold shelter. Ray sat with his back against the wall, his arm bandaged from the small cut earlier. Velari sat across from him, her eyes half closed but alert. She looked stronger now, her voice no longer shaking, her hands steady, but there was something in her face, guilt. I shouldn't have done that, she said. You didn't take much, Ray replied. That's not the point, Velari whispered. It's what it meant. I crossed a line, I fed again, and I told myself I wouldn't. Ray didn't speak. He let the silence hang for a while. He understood that kind of guilt, the kind that sticks even when you're trying to survive. You saved yourself, he said at last. That's not weakness. Velari looked away. Her eyes flicked toward the door like she wanted to run. I've met people who would let someone die just to stay clean. You didn't, Ray added. That's strength. Velari stared at him. unsure whether to believe it. "You don't know what happens when we feed too much," she said finally. "Some of us lose ourselves, the blood makes us hungry, addicted, wild." "But you stopped." "Yes," she said quietly, "but it took everything in me." Ray leaned forward. "Then I believe you." She looked down. "I don't deserve your trust." Ray smiled faintly. "Then earn it." A beat of silence passed between them. The air was heavy but not tense, like a storm waiting far in the distance. Then Velari said something that caught Ray off guard. "You were ready to offer your neck, weren't you?" Ray didn't answer at first. He just looked at her. Slowly, he nodded. "Why?" she asked. "That could have killed you." He took a breath. "Because I saw your eyes, you weren't hunting, you were drowning." That made her blink. "What do you mean?" "There's a difference," Ray said. "Monsters chase, but people drown. I saw someone drowning." Velari's lips parted slightly, like she wanted to speak, but no words came. "I know what that feels like," Ray added, "to want something so badly it scares you." For the first time, she didn't look like a warrior, or a weapon, or even an alien. She just looked human. Then she said, "If I lose control again, you must stop me." Ray nodded once. "Fair deal." Velari hesitated, her hand gripping her sleeve. "Would you let me try again, properly this time?" Ray's eyes narrowed. "My arm's still healing." "Not your arm," she said. Her voice was steady now, serious. She looked at his neck. Ray didn't flinch. Instead, he tilted his head slightly. "You sure?" She nodded. "It's safer. I'll take less, more control." He moved closer. Their faces were inches apart. Ray could feel her breath, cool, focused. She leaned in slowly, so slowly. And then, her lips touched his neck. Her fangs slid in gently. No pain, just pressure. A strange warmth spread through him, mixed with a wave of calm. His breathing slowed, heart steady. She drank, carefully, measured, and then she stopped. She pulled away quickly, her hands shaking again, but not from hunger this time, from fear. Ray leaned back, wiping a bit of blood from his neck. "You okay?" Velari stared at him like he was made of light. "I've never felt like that before," she said. "Like what?" "Safe, in control, human." Ray gave her a soft smirk. "Welcome to the club." Velari laughed quietly, her eyes wet now. "No one ever trusted me like that," she said. "Not even my own kind." Ray shrugged. "Maybe they should have." She looked down at her hands. "What happens now?" Ray stood up and walked to the small window. "Now, we figure out how to keep you alive longer than a few days." Outside, clouds were gathering. The air was colder, something was coming. Velari stood beside him. "They'll be searching for me, the ones who made me. If they find me, they'll erase everything I've become." Ray looked at her. "Then we make sure they don't find you." She glanced up at him, surprised. "You're not just helping me survive, you're helping me live." Ray smiled, one unthinkable act of kindness at a time. They both laughed, but neither of them noticed the blinking light across the street. A drone had found them, and it was watching. The sound was small at first. A soft click in the distance. Ray heard it, his instincts sharpened. He moved toward the window, slow and silent like a trained soldier. "Something wrong?" Velari asked quietly. Ray raised his hand. "Stay low, don't move." He peeked outside. At first, the street was empty. Same broken cars, same trash blowing in the wind. Then he saw it, a small blinking red light hovering above the streetlight. A drone. It wasn't Earth-made. Its smooth silver body hovered too still, too quiet. It wasn't scanning randomly, it was watching, recording. Velari joined him, and her eyes narrowed. "That's theirs," she said. "You sure?" She nodded. "Hunter-class recon drone, it tracks scent, heat, movement. They've found me." Ray's heart sank. "How long do we have?" Velari stepped back from the window. "Not long. If they mark the location, ground teams will come in 5 minutes, maybe less." Ray grabbed his bag, tossed her a cloak. "Then we don't wait." They moved quickly, down the back stairs, out the emergency exit. But the drone had seen them. A sharp beep echoed in the air, like a silent alarm. Then came the sound Ray had feared the most. "Engines." Sleek black ships no bigger than cars zipped through the sky like bullets. 3 of them. No lights, no warning, just speed and power. Velari froze for a second. They sent enforcers. Ray turned to her. Can you fight? She hesitated. I can, but if I do, I lose control. Ray checked his rifle. Then I'll buy us time. No, she said firmly. I'm not letting you fight alone. The ships hovered above them now, and in a flash of light, they dropped. 3 armored figures landed on the ground with perfect precision. Their suits were smooth, black, and reflective. No faces, just red slits where their eyes should be. Target identified, one of them spoke in a robotic voice. Velari unit, return for reprogramming. Velari stepped forward, shaking but tall. I am no unit, I'm not your weapon. Resistance equals termination. Ray raised his gun. You'll have to go through me. They didn't hesitate. One of them moved like lightning, charged forward, fist raised. Velari was faster. In a blur of motion, she was in front of Ray, catching the enforcer's punch with one hand. Her strength returned. Her eyes glowed again, deep violet burning. I told you, she hissed. I'm done being controlled. She threw the enforcer backward, with such force it crashed through a wall. Ray aimed and fired at the second one. Sparks flew from its armor, but it kept coming. Velari jumped high, too high for a human, and landed on the third enforcer, slamming it into the ground. The battle was brutal, fast, loud. Velari moved like a shadow, elegant, dangerous. Her training showed, but so did her control. She didn't feed, she didn't snap. Ray took cover, supporting her with shots when he could. The second enforcer got close, but Ray dropped it with a shot to the neck, its weakest point. Velari crushed the last one with a punch that cracked the pavement. Then silence. Only their breathing filled the air. Ray looked at the broken bodies. That was insane. Velari was shaking, not from weakness but emotion. I almost lost control, but I didn't. Ray smiled. You're stronger than you think. Suddenly her knees buckled. Ray caught her before she fell. I burned too much energy, she whispered. I need to rest or... Ray knew what she meant. He looked at her pale face. Her fangs were showing again. This time he didn't wait. He tilted his head and whispered, take what you need, just don't leave me, okay? She nodded weakly and bit, carefully, gently, just a sip, just enough. When she finished, she was breathing easier. Ray stood up, still steady. We need to move, if there were 3 more coming. Velari looked at him with wide, glowing eyes. You could have left me, but you stayed. I said I would, Ray replied, and I keep my promises. She took his hand, not for hunger, not for need, but for trust. We need to disappear, she said. Ray looked up at the night sky, then let's vanish. As they disappeared into the darkness, neither of them knew. A new hunter was already watching. This one didn't wear armor. It wore a human face. They moved through the ruins like ghosts. The old subway tunnels were dark, cold, and filled with echoes. Ray and Velari had traveled miles on foot, using forgotten paths only ex-soldiers knew. Every sound could have meant danger, but they kept going. Velari walked with her hood up, silent and alert. Her energy was low again, but she didn't complain. Ray finally stopped at a rusty door with faded yellow paint. He knocked twice, paused, then once more. A voice answered from behind. Password. Ray smirked. I don't do passwords. The door creaked open. A woman stood there, sharp eyes, short black hair, dressed in a patchwork jacket covered in old army badges. Ray. He nodded. It's me. She stared at him, then at Velari behind him. You brought company. She's with me. The woman stepped aside, letting them in. The shelter inside was much bigger than Ray's last hideout. It had lights, working machines, weapons, food storage. People must have lived here once. Soldiers, maybe rebels. Ray turned to Velari. This is Zara. We fought together in the Earth-Mars War. Zara crossed her arms. You trust her? I do. Zara looked Velari up and down. She's not human. I noticed, Ray said. Velari stayed silent. Zara sighed. Fine, you can rest here, but if she snaps. She won't, Ray cut her off. Later that night, they sat around an old oil lamp. Velari was asleep in the corner, curled under a blanket. Her breathing was calm. Her hunger was under control. Zara poured Ray some old synth coffee. "You always had a death wish," she said. Ray sipped. "She's not like them. They're all the same, Ray." "No, she ran. She chose to be different." Zara looked at him carefully. "And what if it's a trick? What if she's leading you into a trap?" Ray shook his head. "She had the chance to kill me twice. She didn't. That's all I need." Zara leaned closer. "You're starting to care about her, aren't you?" Ray didn't answer, but his silence was loud. Zara gave a small, knowing smile. "You always cared too much. That's what made you a good soldier and a terrible survivor." Suddenly, the lights flickered. Then a loud buzz echoed from the corner. Velari shot up instantly, eyes glowing faint violet. "Something's wrong." Zara stood, alarmed. The perimeter sensors, someone tripped them. Ray grabbed his weapon. "No one followed us." Zara ran to a console and tapped on the screen. A blurry image appeared, two figures outside, dressed like scavengers but moving too smoothly. "They're not survivors," Velari said. "They're trackers." Zara pulled a gun from the wall. "Then we fight." "No," Velari said, stepping forward. "They're not looking for you, they're looking for me. I'll lead them away." Ray grabbed her wrist. "No way, we stay together." Zara loaded her gun. "You really trust her that much?" Ray nodded. "More than most humans I've met." Suddenly, Velari stopped. She stared at the console, her eyes narrowing. "Zoom in," she said. Zara did. The face of one figure came into focus. Velari's voice dropped. "That's not a tracker." Ray looked closer. His eyes widened. It was Lance, Ray's old friend, his war brother, his most trusted squad mate. But his eyes were cold now, his expression empty. "He was reported dead 2 years ago," Ray whispered. Velari stepped back. "He's not dead, he's controlled." Ray turned to Zara. "You didn't tell me he was alive." Zara didn't answer. Ray's eyes narrowed. "Zara, how long have you known?" She looked away. Velari suddenly hissed. "She knew. She brought us here on purpose." Zara raised her gun. Ray raised his too. "Don't." Zara's voice was calm. "I didn't want to betray you, Ray, but they gave me a choice. Hand her over or they burn this whole zone." "You let them track us?" Zara nodded slowly. "You wouldn't understand. The world's broken. We're just trying to survive." Ray's heart sank. He had trusted her. Velari stood behind him. "Let me go. I'll draw them away. She's not worth killing over." Ray shook his head. "No, not again." He looked at Zara. His voice was cold now. "You had your chance to do the right thing." And in that second, he fired first. Zara ducked. A shot rang out. Sparks flew. Ray turned, grabbed Velari's hand. "Run!" They bolted into the back tunnels as alarms screamed. Zara shouted behind them, "You won't get far." Velari breathed hard. "You chose me again." Ray squeezed her hand. "And I'll keep choosing you." Behind them, the past was burning. But ahead, the future was waiting. The alarms screamed through the tunnels like angry ghosts. Red lights flashed across the walls, blinking faster with every second. Ray held Velari's hand tightly as they ran, their footsteps echoing behind them. "She knows these tunnels," Velari said. "She'll send more." "I know them too," Ray replied, "and I've got one path she forgot." They took a sharp left, then dropped into a dark maintenance shaft. The air inside was heavy and damp, the walls slick with years of rust. Ray moved like he had done this before, fast, low, and quiet. Velari followed closely, her body still tired but alert. "She betrayed you," she said softly. Ray didn't answer right away. "Yeah," he finally said, "but I'm not surprised. War changes people. Some become survivors, others become weapons." Velari looked at him. "What about you?" He glanced back. "I became someone who protects what matters." They reached a dead end, a blank wall. Velari's eyes narrowed. "This is it." Ray smiled and tapped a small dent on the metal. Click! A hidden door slid open. Beyond it, a forgotten escape tunnel that led beneath the city. "Not even Zara knew this one," Ray said. They stepped inside, and the door closed behind them. For a few precious minutes, silence. Ray stopped to catch his breath. Velari leaned against the wall, exhausted. "You're still weak," Ray said. "You need rest or blood." Velari shook her head. "I can control it now." He studied her face. She was pale, her eyes a little dim, but her voice was calm. Her strength wasn't just physical anymore, it was mental. "You've changed," he said. "So have you," she replied. They stared at each other. Then Ray said something he hadn't said to anyone in a long time. "You scare me." Velari blinked. "Why?" "Because I'm starting to care about someone again." Her expression softened. "That's not weakness, Ray, that's your power." They smiled faintly. Then a sudden thud. The tunnel behind them shook. "They found us," Velari said. "Ray cursed, we need to move now." They ran again, deeper into the tunnel. The walls narrowed and the floor dipped downward. Water rushed along the edges, cold and loud. Behind them, metallic footsteps followed, too steady to be human. "They sent drones," Velari said, "fast ones." Ray turned and pulled a small EMP charge from his vest. "Keep going," he said. "I'll slow them down." "No," she said. "We do this together." They stopped, turned, and waited. The first drone appeared, a sleek silver sphere with sharp legs and glowing red eyes. It leapt. Velari lunged first, faster than lightning. She grabbed it midair and slammed it into the wall. Sparks exploded. Another drone followed, and Ray threw the EMP. Boom! The tunnel flashed white. Both drones shorted out, falling into the water like dead metal spiders. But now the noise would bring more. "We're almost there," Ray said. "One more push." They ran again, faster this time. Finally, they saw light. A metal ladder led up to a hatch. Ray climbed first, pushed it open, and helped Velari through. They came out into the open air. A ruined rooftop, cold wind, the city skyline far in the distance. Below, sirens echoed. Searchlights swept the streets. The sky above was filled with silent black ships. Velari stood tall, her eyes now glowing with strength, not hunger. "They'll never stop," she said. "They want me back or dead." Ray stepped beside her. "Then we don't run anymore." She looked at him. "What do you mean?" He pointed at the city. "There are others like you out there, aren't there? Hiding, escaping, alone." Velari nodded slowly. "Yes, hundreds, maybe more." "Then we find them, we fight for them, we show them kindness still exists." Her eyes lit up. "You're not afraid anymore," she said. Ray shook his head. "No, I'm angry. They tried to erase you. They tried to use me. That ends now." Velari stepped closer. "You're not just human anymore, Ray." "What am I then?" "Your hope." They stood together, facing the stars. Somewhere below, Zara was watching a new report. "Target escaped," the message said. But it also said something new. "Unknown threat classification updated. Human asset Ray marked as dangerous influence. Terminate on sight." Zara stared at the screen and whispered, "You've changed, old friend." The storm hit just before dawn. Winds howled over the broken city as black ships circled the skis. They weren't searching anymore. They were hunting. Ray and Velari stood at the edge of an old broadcast tower, far beyond the reach of drones for now. They had spent days moving between safe houses, spreading word, sending messages through old radio signals, calling the hidden ones. Now they waited. And hoped. "You really think they'll come?" Velari asked quietly. Ray looked out at the horizon. "They've been afraid for so long, but now they've seen what you did, you stood up." "I'm just one," she said. "Sometimes," Ray replied, "that's all it takes." And then one shadow appeared in the distance. Then another. And another. Figures in cloaks, in armor, in scraps of alien tech and human clothes, tired eyes, glowing eyes, some with scars, others with silent stares. They came from tunnels, rooftops, sewers, and caves. Aliens like Velari, modified, broken, forgotten. But now, they were rising. A quiet hum filled the air, a signal echoing through old speakers. Velari stepped forward, eyes glowing soft violet. Her voice, calm but strong, carried over the rooftops. I was made to destroy, she began. Built in a lab trained to kill, designed to serve without choice. The wind died down, silence. But one human gave me something different, not power, not escape. He gave me kindness. She turned to Ray, who nodded slightly. I thought it made me weak. I was wrong, it made me free. She raised her voice. You are not weapons, you are not machines, you feel, you remember, you choose. Dozens of alien eyes glowed in the dark. Some trembled, some whispered. But if you stay hidden, they win. If you fight alone, they find you. If we fight together. She paused, looked at Ray. We become something they never planned for, something they can't stop. Ray stepped beside her. We're calling ourselves the Kindred, not because we share blood, but because we share belief, in second chances, in freedom, in each other. Suddenly, a loud boom echoed from the east. Black ships. Hundreds of them. The sky lit up with search beams, drones, weapons locking on targets. They're coming, Velari whispered. Ray loaded his rifle. Let them. The Kindred prepared. Some had claws. Some had mind control. Others just had stones and courage. But none ran. When the ships arrived, they found something unexpected. Unity. A single sniper shot hit the lead drone, Ray's mark. Velari leapt into the sky, faster than any scanner could lock on. The others followed, silent, swift, powerful. One after another, the black ships fell, not all, but enough. Explosions shook the air, smoke filled the streets, but inside it, the Kindred were winning. Zara, watching from a control tower, stared at the screens in shock. How, she whispered. Her commander asked, should we send the elite unit? Zara paused and remembered Ray's words, kindness still exists. No, she said quietly, let them go. The order was never given. And in that moment, the system cracked. The Kindred vanished again, but now people talked about them. The ones who dared to feel. The vampire girl who refused to feed. The human who offered his neck and his heart. Legends began to grow. Stories passed from city to city, whispered in alleys, painted on walls. The Kindred are coming. The future has fangs, but also kindness. Weeks later, a calm forest, birds singing. Ray and Velari sat by a fire, surrounded by a few Kindred refugees. She leaned against him. He smiled, so what now? She looked up at the stars. We find others. And after that, she took his hand. We build something better. Ray nodded, for humans and aliens. For everyone, she said. They sat in silence. Just two souls, once strangers. Now family.